Hello, hi, namaskar to all the viewers of this channel. My dear students, I am trying my level best to give you service at your doorstep. The only thing what I expect from you is a small few seconds of your time. Whenever you are watching the video, please click on a like icon and subscribe my channel. That is what I expect from you people, nothing else. If you got benefited by listening to my classes, if you, there is a condition applied. If you are really satisfied with my teaching, please give your like and comments. Okay, my dear students, let me start today's class. In the earlier session, we have completed two types of errors. One is error disclosed before preparing trial balance. Secondly, the second stage, the errors disclosed after preparing trial balance. These are the two stages that have been completed, my dear students. Now we are into the last stage of rectification, that is the errors disclosed after preparing final accounts. Please, those who are really the present CA Foundation students, those who are going to write the exams in the month of next attempt, please make a note of it. Whatever I am telling you, by keep on separate note for while listening every videos. You make a note of it. You make a points to be remembered wherever you feel difficulties, especially in right now. Within few seconds, you should make a note of it after listening to this 2 to 3 minutes of explanation. My dear students, what and are the things that you have to change when the errors are disclosed in the after preparing the final accounts? Now my question, the students will ask, sir, when we can know that errors are disclosed after preparing the final account? Usually in question paper, he used one keyword, that is next year. What he used? Next year. Sir, where he used to use? He will be telling that errors are disclosed, identified, carried on in the next financial year, next year, subsequent years, following years. What I told? Next year, following year, subsequent year. Then we have to say that, my dear students, errors are disclosed after preparing the final accounts. I hope you got it. One answer for that. Secondly, my dear students, when the errors are disclosed after preparing trial balance, after preparing final accounts, in the next year, how to rectify the errors? Now I am going to tell you one clue for this. There are two important stages you need to remember. One stage I tell you. In one stage, my dear student, right now, I go for second stage afterwards. Now, in the first stage, what we have to do? You know the Panchatarayaru, who they are? They are of expenses, incomes. I write in one place. I go for the next concept, assets, capital and liabilities in the next stage. Usually what I used to write? I used to write asset, expenses, capital, liability, income. This is how I used to write, right? But in the particular stage, when the errors are disclosed in the next financial year, you should learn Panchatarayaru like this. Sir, why? Because, my dear students, when the errors are disclosed in the next year, in the place of income and expenses, please remember, listen to me, Repeatedly I am telling you, might have get bored with that. Sir, how many times you are telling next year, next year? Because that is the point where you need to remember, my dear students. That's why I am repeating you, so that it can go inside your head very quickly. Please remember, my dear students, here in the place of income and expenses, you are not supposed to use that particular account. For example, rent received, income; salary, expenses; traveling expenses, expenses; conveyance expenses, expenses; right? Sales, income; purchases, expenses; sales returns, opposite of sales, comes under the same heading of income; sales returns, purchase returns, opposite of purchases, but comes under the same heading. My dear students, we should not take such expenses and incomes as it is in your rectified entry. So then what we have to use? My dear student, in that we have to use P and L adjustment account. Did you understood? For example, if your rectified entry is, I tell you, if your rectified entry is rent account debit to suspense account, this is your rectified entry. But in the next year means when you are disclosing the errors in the next year means what? You have already prepared all your trading account, P&L account, everything is prepared, everything is closed. After doing all those things, you have rectified the errors. In such case, my dear students, as we are not going to prepare again the profit and loss account, as we are not going to prepare again the trading account, for that purpose, what we have to use is, we used to take income and expenses in P&L, right? In such situation, my dear students, in the place of rent, we have to say profit and loss adjustment account. Then what is your rectified entry in the next year? It is of profit and loss adjustment account debit to suspense account. मालूम हुआ आप लोगों को? In the place of income, my dear students, in the place of expenses, we should not use the name of that particular account. I'm not telling you don't use income, you don't expenses. Use the income and expenses, but don't use the particular name of account of that income and expenses. Instead of using that, my dear students, we have to use what? P&L adjustment account. I hope you got it right. Secondly, this is the first stage you need to remember. Especially this video is going to be a big one. It may cross nearly 30-35 minutes also, because I am explaining both the points to be remembered along with one problem that I am going to solve in the same video, so that you can have a connectivity with the points to be remembered with one problem when I solved it. This is the one point you need to remember, that is in the place of income, that is in the place of expenses, you are supposed to use the P&L adjustment account. But my dear students, don't use what? P&L account, adjustment account in the place of asset, capital, liability. Take them as it is. No need to use P&L adjustment. For example, if you come across machinery, use the machinery only. If you come across drawing, use the drawing only, because drawing is the opposite of capital. If you come across a liability called creditor, BP, BOD, means bank overdraft, in such situation also, don't use P&L adjustment. P&L adjustment is to be used only in case of income and expenses. I hope you got it. Now I tell you, my dear students, the another important concept, that what I said, that is, after all journal entries, what? After all journal entries, we have to prepare a ledger called profit and loss adjustment account. What we have to do? We have to prepare a ledger called profit and loss adjustment account. You make the entry as how you used to supposed to make the entry in suspense account. Similarly, you make the entry in P&L adjustment account. Here some entry, here some entry, here some entry, here some entry. After this, we have to close this P&L adjustment. Wherever you get a balance, please listen. I'm teaching you with a lot of interest, that to be in a slow manner, because it's a not so easy concept. If I shout, if I go at a high speed, you never understood. What useless fellow is this? You will tell. You people will tell. Now, when you close, if you got a difference here as a balancing figure, it is to be transferred to the capital account. If you got a balancing figure here, we have to write by capital account. Malum hua? After this, you pass one journal entry in your rectified entry list. If you got less here, we have to, since it is in the credit side of journal, so it goes to the debit side of ledger. क्या बोलना अब? Capital account debit to P&L adjustment account. Capital account debit to P&L adjustment. Please make a note of it. If this side is less, capital account debit to P&L adjustment. Another, if it is less in the debit side, since it is less in the debit side of journal, when it is less in the debit side of journal, when it is less in the debit side of ledger, it goes to the credit side of journal as to capital account. क्या लिखना अब? ऊपर क्या लिखना? P&L adjustment account debit to capital account. Here means capital account debit to P&L adjustment account. Please do remember these two entries that we compulsorily pass in the case of when the errors are disclosed in the next financial year. Okay, fine. Shall we move on to the solution for this particular problem, my dear students? See, this is a problem asked in CA Foundation November 2020 for 5 marks. It is also there in MTP 2024. Shall we start? Fine. Now let me apply. Apply, it takes another 20 minutes to make you understand. First problem, na, I teach in a slow way. Applied laboratories were unable to agree the trial balance on March 2020. Fine. And have a suspense account. They have also prepared a suspense account. Fine. क्या बोले इधर? Next year. See, my dear students, what he is telling. Next year means you know very well. The following errors were disclosed. When, my dear students, please remember, please recall whenever you solve, whenever you are reading on your own, when it comes to next year, in the place of income, in the place of expenses, we have to use profit and loss adjustment account. No need to use profit and loss adjustment account in the place of asset, liability, capital. Keep them as it is. Fine. I start my first point. See how much interest you people will show. Let me know about it. Repairs made during the year. क्या किए आपने? रिपेयर ही किए. For what? Or wrongly debited to the buildings account. This is a mistake that is being done. My dear kids, repairs means expenses. It is to be debited as a correct debit. Am I right? But what you have done? What is done in the question paper by the question paper setter? What he has done? He has debited to the buildings account. When he debited to the buildings account, it is what debit? It is a wrong debit. How to pass the rectified entry? We know very well. Keep the correct in the same place. Shift the wrong in the opposite place. Now what is your rectified entry? Your rectified entry will be, that is, repairs account debit to buildings account. Correct? Now, since we are, my dear student, listen, since we are rectifying the errors in the next year, when you are rectifying the errors in the next year, in the place of income and expenses, use what? We have to use what? We have to use P&L adjustment. Hai na? Among the two, which one is income or expenses? Here, repairs is a expenses. In the place of repairs, what we have to write? We have to write P&L adjustment account. मालूम हुआ अब एंट्री क्या होता? P&L adjustment account debit buildings account. Sir, can we change the building as a P&L adjustment? Is it possible? No, my dear students, because building comes under the category of asset. As an asset, we are not supposed to change. I hope you got it right. Now your rectified entry will be what? P&L adjustment account debit to buildings account. Shall we read the first entry? Very good, my dear students. I am very happy with your number of weaves. Okay, I want only one thing, one like. If you like, it boosts up my energy. Okay, thank you. Now the entry for this will be what? Profit and loss adjustment account debit to buildings account. How much amount, my dear students? It is an amount of rupees 12,500 dash 12,500. मालूम हुआ है ना? अब नरेशन क्या लिखना? Being wrong debit to buildings account is rectified. Okay, fine. Now I increase little bit speed. Okay, because I'm consuming more time in this particular video. Fine. The addition of freight column. What? Freight column. In which book? In purchase journal. Was short. Short means what? Under cost. Short means what? Under cost. Under cost to short means what, my dear students? Short means it is nothing but under cost. Fine. Here freight means what? It is an expenses. In the place of expenses, what we have to use? We have to use P&L adjustment. When it is short, it is to be taken in the same side. What side? Now you tell me. Expenses means what? Debit. It is to be taken in what side? It is to be taken in same side as the under cost. Under cost means comes in the same side. Over cost means take it in the opposite side. Over है ना? Over हुआ तो क्या करना? एक थप्पड़ मारना, मार के opposite लगाना. Under बोले तो उनको उधर ही पुश करना, उधर ही रखना, उधर ही अमाउंट डालना, उधर ही अमाउंट रिकॉर्ड करना. किधर अमाउंट रिकॉर्ड करना? डेबिट साइड में रिकॉर्ड करना. Now what is your journal entry, my dear students? Can you people guess what might be the Sudhakara is going to write the entry? Now expenses means what? P&L adjustment account debit to what? Suspense account. Usually for under cost, over cost or one-sided errors. One-sided errors always get the suspense account. In earlier stage, what we used to do before preparing, before next year, if it is not a next year, what we used to do? We used to write freight account debit to suspense account. Hai na? Freight account debit to suspense account. But here we are not allowed to write freight to suspense because freight is expenses. In the place of expenses, we have to use P&L adjustment account. Fine. Shall I write the entry for this? Now your entry will be what? P&L adjustment account debit to what? Suspense account. It is an amount of rupees 1500. Being short of freight column in the purchase journal rectified. I repeat, short in the freight column of the purchase book rectified. Shall we move on to the next one? See what happened in the third transaction. Goods of the value, goods to the value of 1050 returned by a customer. What do you mean by returned by a customer? Returned by a customer is sales returns. Sales returns means opposite of sales. We have to use means debit. In the place of sales returns, we have to use P&L adjustment account because it comes in our trading P&L account. Am I right? Now, who is Rani and Company? Rani and Company is your debtor. When Rani and Company, please listen, this is a very important transaction that I recently explained in the previous class of your problem. I think if it is the 18th class, I explained it in 17th class. Now, debtor. When Rani and Company being a debtor, please listen, when Rani and Company being a debtor returned the goods, the debtor will comes down. The debtor is to be credited. This is also correct. This is also correct. What happened has been posted to the debit of Rani and Company. Where the mistake is committed? Is the mistake is committed in your sales returns or Rani and Company? Since the mistake is committed in Rani and Company, then no need to look towards your sales returns. No need to look towards your P&L adjustment. All this gone. Only what is left out? Instead of debiting Rani and Company, my dear students, you have, instead of crediting Rani and Company, you have debited Rani and Company as a wrong debit. मालूम हुआ क्या बोले मैं? Did you understood why I striked out the sales returns? Because they didn't committed any mistake in sales returns. See, they are telling also to the sales returns. रानी एंड कंपनी डेबिट किया तो उन्हें क्या करता है इधर सेल्स रिटर्न्स अकाउंट में डेबिट करते हैं सिंस इट इज डेबिटेड इन सेल्स रिटर्न्स अकाउंट sales returns account is to be debited. They have also debited sales returns. That's why Sudhakara striked out the sales returns because mistakes is not at all committed in sales returns. Mistake is committed only in the Rani and Company. Now, how is your rectified entry? So simple, you know very well. Keep the correct in the same place. Shift the wrong in the opposite place. So Rani and Company debit. Rani and Company है ना? So what happened? Rani and Company account debit. वो इधर Rani and Company है ना? वो wrong debit हुआ है ना? Sorry, I think this is not a correct one. Wait. Sorry, my dear student. Rani and Company, what we have to do? We have to credit. We have to credit Rani and Company. Here also Rani and Company wrongly debited. Here also it is to be credited. So Rani and Company is to be taken in what side? Rani and Company is to be taken in credit side. How many times we have to take? 2 times. Then which account is to be taken on the upper side? That is on the debit side. Suspense account. So suspense account debit 2100 to Rani and Company 1050 to Rani and Company 1050. You can write 2 times in your explanation, but it won't be so nice when you write in your notes, when you write in your answer script. आंसर स्क्रिप्ट में क्या डालना? अब सस्पेंस अकाउंट डेबिट और रानी एंड कंपनी अकाउंट टेक द अमाउंट 2 times. सस्पेंस अकाउंट डेबिट टू रानी एंड कंपनी अकाउंट कितना आया अब? 1050 1050 कुल मिला के कितना हुआ? ये तो 200 2100, ये तो 2100. Being wrong debit to Rani and Company is rectified. Wrong debit to Rani and Company is rectified. Since my dear students is the first problem na, I am taking lot of time to make you understand. Please don't skip the video, don't speed up the video, listen for a first time, listen with a lot of interest. Thereafter I spend less time in next problems. Don't worry about it, my dear students. Are you understanding? Sundry items, see here, sundry items of furniture sold. क्या सोल्ड किए आपने? फर्नीचर सोल्ड किए. When you sold the furniture, furniture comes down. What to do for furniture? It is decreased. I said decreased credit. Good. Has been entered in the sales book. Where it is entered? Entered in the sales book. Sales means what? Income. In the place of income, what we have to use? We have to use P&L adjustment. Sales means according to the rule, credit the increase. It is a wrong credit. है ना? Wrong credit हुआ because sale of furniture is recorded in sales book. Total of which has been posted to sales account. Oh, बाद में sales account को भी posting हो गया. So it will affect the agreement of trial balance. Is it affect or what? No, it won't affect because it is a error of principle. Treating the capital expenditure as a revenue expenditure. Now what is your rectified entry? Keep the correct in the same place. Shift the wrong in the opposite place. Means furniture account is to be credited. Furniture account is to be credited. P&L adjustment account is to be debited. Then what is your rectified entry? P&L adjustment account debit to furniture account with an amount of rupees 30,000. Shall we write the fourth entry? Now your fourth entry will be what? What is your fourth entry? That is P&L adjustment account debit. P&L adjustment account debit to furniture account. I hope it is 30,000 it seems. Now the question will arise in the mindset of students. Sir, in the place of furniture, why you are not using P&L adjustment? Because furniture is an asset, so we should not use. Being wrong credit in sales account is rectified. Why not wrong credit in sales account? Rectified. Now let me move on to the last transaction of this particular problem. It's another important and difficult concept. I covered this also in the previous class. Now, a bill of exchange received from Raja and Company. When you come across bills of exchange Raja and Company is your debtor. Please remember, it is a concept from your bills of exchange chapter. Fine. For rupees 20,000 had been returned by the bank. Oh, who returned? Bank. As a dishonor. My dear student, when a bank dishonored, bank will dishonor only when the check is discounted in the bank. I am telling you, it is a purely bills of exchange chapter mixed with rectification. When the bank dishonored the bill, it indicates that it is a discounted bill. When bank dishonored the discounted bill, what happened? What is your journal entry? I won't give journal entry. I always link with the 5 stars. When the banker dishonored, the debtors increases because the bills receivable goes back to debtor. The debtor will increase. Now, the bill is dishonored by whom? The banker. When the banker dishonor, the banker will deduct the money out of our bank account. For this journal entry is what you know. If I say journal entry directly, nobody will understand. I know very well. If I know very well, if I pass the same answer, you never understand. That's why I'm giving you explanation. Many times this explanation you might not get from any other, mostly from other persons, not any, mostly. Few will give a detailed explanation. I hope I will be one among them. Now what happened when a banker dishonor? Banker will deduct the money out of our current account, our business account. That's why the bank balance decreased, it is to be credited. Debtor increased, it is to be debited. Who is your debtor? The debtor is Raja and Company. Fine, let me continue. Had been credited to the bank account. So देखिए ना क्या किए उन्हें, credited to bank account. Whatever the things I told so far, the same thing happened here. देखिए ना इधर क्या करते हैं, हमें क्रेडिट करते हैं. क्रेडिट हुआ है ना बराबर से, ये तो बराबर से क्रेडिट हुआ है ना इधर. Yes, it is credited, since we should not take it for our rectification. When it is correctly passed, no rectification. When wrongly passed, then only rectification. बाद में क्या किए? Debited to bills receivable account. किधर डेबिट किए उन्हें? बिल्स रिसीवेबल ने डेबिट किया. किधर डेबिट करना था? डेटर अकाउंट को करना था. Instead of debiting the debtors of Rani and Company, they have debited to the bills receivable account. Now my dear students, this is your wrong debit. क्या बोले मालूम हुआ? Instead of debiting debtor, they have debited to bills receivable. Now what is your rectified entry? Keep the correct in the same place. है ना? Shift the wrong in the opposite place. अब क्या होता? Debtors account is to be debited. Bills receivable account is to be opposite credited. So entry will be debtors account debit to bills receivable account. That is the entry number what? Entry number 5 होता है ना? Now let me write. That is what? Debtors. Who is debtor here? Rani and Company account debit to bills receivable account. कितना है माँ अमाउंट उधर? 20,000 है ना, 20,000 है. 20,000 dash dash 20,000. Being wrong debit to bills receivable account is rectified. Do you think when I completed all the points the problem is completed? No, my dear students. Then what I should do? I have to prepare P&L adjustment account. The balance of this account is to be transferred to where? The balance of this account is to be transferred to capital account. Shall we try for that? Now after all these things, I have to leave some space for the one more problem, one more entry. I have to write one more entry. Fine, I left the space. Now what I will do, you know, I will prepare the P&L adjustment account. Fine, my dear students, listen, let me speed it off. See what happened here. In first entry, P&L adjustment to building. P&L adjustment to building. In P&L adjustment, what we have to write? We have to write the building. Building is in what place? Building is in the credit place of journal. Building is in what place? Building is in the credit place of journal. When it is in the credit place of journal, it comes to the debit place of ledger. है ना? क्या लिखना अब? To buildings account. कितना है अमाउंट? देखिए ना अमाउंट कितना है? 12,500. Let me write 12,500. Fine. Second entry. P&L adjustment account debit to suspense. और P&L adjustment में suspense लिखना. Suspense किधर है? It is in the credit side of journal. Again it comes where? Debit side of ledger. Shall we write to suspense account? Is it 1,500? Good. बाद में third entry. Suspense account debit to Rani and company. Do we have any P&L adjustment? No. So no entry for this. Next one, P&L adjustment account debit to furniture. क्या है अब? P&L adjustment to furniture. In P&L adjustment furniture लिखना. Furniture किधर है? Credit side में है. It goes to where? Debit side. Then sir, all the entries are in credit. Always it comes like that. No madam, no students, no like that. It's all purely depends on the instructions, transactions, right? So what we have to write? To furniture account with 30,000. क्या लिखना अब? To फर्नीचर अकाउंट 30,000 हुआ. बाद में लास्ट एंट्री में क्या है उधर? रानी एंड कंपनी टू बिल्स रिसीवेबल. हियर आल्सो नो सस्पेंस, नो P&L adjustment, no need to pass any entry in P&L adjustment. Now my dear students, you close it off. कितना आता अब? ये तो 4,000 हुआ, राइट? 1,000 टू ओके. 1 + 3 कितना होता? 44,000 हुआ. ये 44,000 क्रेडिट साइड में कम है ना. क्या लिखना हमें? बाय कैपिटल अकाउंट एज ए बैलेंसिंग फिगर. कितना आया? 44,000 आया. एक बार देख लेंगे कौन सा है. ये तो 12,500, ये तो 1,500, ये तो फर्नीचर 30,000. C1's furniture, yes it is a 30,000. I think all the entries are correct. ये तीन मिला के कितना हुआ? 40,000. 14,000 प्लस 30 44,000 हुआ. हिंदी थोड़ा थोड़ा आता मुझे. I'm also learning little bit of Hindi. If any confusion, if I committed any mistakes in pronunciation and all, please don't take it seriously. As he is against Hindi fellow, he is killing Hindi. No madam, I'm a fan of learning almost all the languages. Okay, I used to prefer, it's better to have a wide exposure. I used to prefer to learn different languages. Thank you for your support. Now ये तो buy है ना. When it is in the credit side of ledger, it goes to where? Debit side of journal. जर्नल में डेबिट साइड आता. क्या बोलना अब? कैपिटल अकाउंट डेबिट 6 एंट्री होता है ना. कैपिटल अकाउंट डेबिट किधर लेके आप? कैपिटल अकाउंट P&L एडजस्टमेंट में. टू P&L एडजस्टमेंट अकाउंट कितना आया अमाउंट ऑफ? 44,000 आया. नरेशन क्या लिखना? बीइंग बैलेंस ऑफ P&L adjustment account is transferred to capital account. Okay, this is how we have to solve. Please don't what we call scold me because I took so much of time to make you understand this particular problem. Please go through it very very carefully. I took a lot of efforts in making you understand. Please give your likes and comments. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care. Namaskar.